What is okay?
What's up, YouTube?
Hey, what's up going on, guys?
When I knock people out, they don't fucking move. Who the fuck is that guy? Oh, don't be scared, homie.
Welcome to Throwing Hands.
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park, the ponytail.
My balls are hot.
Today, we're at a warehouse that I bought because I'm 17 and I'm rich. Yeah, that's just me pointing out what makes me angry. I hate seeing those videos of some like 15-year-old kid who's like, I don't know, just has like all these fancy cameras and all this fancy shit and he's doing some dumb video.
Well, it's like the Paul brothers.
Yeah,
He's
they
100% that.
Their dad was just like, "Here's money, here's money, here's money."
But hey, they run the Disney Channel. They sold their soul a little bit.
Yeah, they did it the right way.
Yeah, because they were like, "We want to be actors. We want to do this. We want to like." Yeah, it's easy
now?
to be like, "Oh yeah, I've done a whole lot." Yeah, because your parents shoveled out a ridiculous amount of money for you to. I mean, granted, they do make more now, but like their parents shelled out a lot of money for nothing until basically the whole YouTube blow up.
And now,
No. Again, you're missing it, bro.
Disney doesn't pay him like that.
Then YouTube.
Disney doesn't.
Then boxing. Then Logan made a podcast, and now he's in the WWE, and he just blew out his entire team. So that's all.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it took a lot of their dad going, or well, parents. I don't know who made all the money, but it took them going like this for a while.
And now, they're the best boxers in the world.
Yeah, both of them.
All right, here we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Throwing Hands Podcast on the SuperSour Network. We are here for another banger episode for you on a slow MMA week, but we're here to bring the fun. We are here to also judge the craziness, the bullshit, the Octagon control. And I'm here with the Throwing Hands boys, as always. Darnell, Ian, how we doing, guys?
Better than some, worse than others.
I'm sorry. Did you say slow MMA week?
It was a slow MMA week. It was a pretty slow MMA week.
What are you talking about?
Come on.
Elaborate.
What are you talking about, bro? Do
Darnell
you guys
disagrees.
have coming in 5 days, whatever?
It was a slow past week though. Don't jump ahead.
Nah, hey, I'm just gonna fight hard though. They could have easily blue balled us and not have a fight on Saturday.
You're right. Well, it sounds like Ian's very chill right now. Darnell's very hyped. Do you guys think that when I say that out loud, when I just introduce you guys, when I say Ian Darnell, do you think that people confuse the names, or do you think they get it spot on right away without me pointing? What do you think? What's
pretty confusing?
You think it's confusing, huh? You think so?
Yeah, Ian's name is very popular, so like I feel as if people like just understand that right off the bat. But like being a Darnell, like people just don't really. That's not like a common name that you typically see.
It's not common, but you remember it though.
Exactly.
Come on, guys. I think you're dancing around something here.
No, they just can't tell the difference between Ian and me.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I hear that a lot. That when Ian walks into a room, like we've referenced in the past episodes, that when Ian walks in, he's very buff, but you're also very buff, Darnell. So it's like,
yeah, but not like Ian.
Yeah. Jesus.
If I go to the gym, I would be a problem. That's all I know. Just saying.
Ian, you should go to the gym. Go to the gym. Hold on, wait. I don't know. I don't have anything on hand that's that like.
Oh,
anything that I can swing around.
Well, or you can just spit out. Can you have water you can just spit out everywhere?
Go to the fucking gym. Go to the fucking gym. Go to the fucking gym. Yeah, I see you. Go to the fucking gym.
There you go.
I have whiskey.
Oh, don't do that. Go to the gym.
Yeah, this bottle's probably gonna explode now.
You just shook up that Sprite heavy, huh?
Oh no, that was the Jameson bottle. That was
that warm whiskey.
Yep, the death stuff. The stuff that puts some hair on your goddamn chest.
Whatever.
You talk to me about hair on your chest.
And also, as you guys know, as always, it's Joe from SuperSour Podcast, the wisest Puerto Rican you know. Bro, the other day, or like the other week, I was telling Reese, I was showing Reese my earlobe was like pussing up and puffing up and shit like that. It was like weird. It was hurting, and she like put alcohol to it and she rubbed on it. And low key, my brain.
Wait, what?
What?
Oh, I thought you were showing it.
No. My ear. So
off screen.
My ear was all like puffing and like shit like that and like pussing like and then like Reese took care of it. She put alcohol on it. She rubbed it. It's gone down since then. But low key in my brain, while she was taking care of it, I was like kind of feeling badass. I was like, getting that cauliflower ear, baby. Getting that cauliflower ear, baby. Let's go. Go jiu-jitsu. So just.
Do you really want that though?
No, I don't. But just in the moment, it made me feel tough. I mean, I am tough, but it's nice to feel tough.
I'm honestly surprised that me or Greg didn't get cauliflower ear while he was wrestling, or the time when I was at Supremacy and shit.
Yeah.
Because like me and Greg got those big old fucking Dumbo ears.
And all the times that you've
so
just
surprised
boxed with friends and shit like that, I'd say you'd have like a 2 handfuls time that you've boxed with friends and sparred with friends and shit like that.
My friends don't know how to box.
Fair enough, but still. Well, except for me and Rick, pieced you up pretty good. Yeah. We're waiting for that. Ian's waiting for that rematch. He's waiting for that fucking Rocky Balboa sparring rematch. But I think to be fair, you choked me out. So I think we're even Stevens. Do you know what I mean? Like I rocked you, and also when I rocked you, I fucking put my thumb out of place. So we were even Stevens to begin with.
When did you rock me?
When we sparred. That's why we stopped. We sparred. So here's how.
With Rick.
No. Here's how the story went, and we also have video of it because we have video of Mom putting my thumb back in place. Because we were sparring in the backyard.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, we were sparring in the backyard. Your first spar session was with Rick. Me and Rick sparred together all the time, and me and Rick were very slow, very like pitter patter. Like we only ripped like body hits and leg kicks. Everything else, shoulder and above, was all light. And so we just like were sparring. You would say properly, one might say, and we became friends with Ian, and then as things went on, we were like, let's do a little training session in the backyard because we had all done Supremacy Jiu-Jitsu at that time, and then I saw that, yeah, and then oh boy, and then when we got out, like when we got done with our trial, I think Ian was the only one to be able to sign up at the time, I think, or maybe none of us signed up yet, and we just were trying to train and do stuff. So Ian came over, we hit pads, we rolled. I think we were going to train a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but we just skipped to the sparring. Whether we did jiu-jitsu or not doesn't matter. So we get to sparring, and you and Rick spar first, and I mean, we say go, and Ian storming Rick, and Rick did better than me at it. Like I did what I knew to do. Like Rick is very long, so when Ian stormed in at him, Rick put a jab out, kept jabbing Ian. Ian was hitting him with body shots. Ian was hitting him back. It was a pretty back and forth type thing, but we kept having to break him up because it's sparring, and we're like, Ian's like, I'm pushing you to the edge of the tarp that we've put out, and I'm throwing body head body head, and kudos, because shouts out, that would destroy people, but in a sparring we were like, this can't. So we keep stopping them, but you guys have a pretty back and forth, so I'm pretty nervous getting in there with Ian, because Ian for some reason is like, I'm going again. He's like, nobody else was like, we were only there with Alex and Rick, so Alex didn't want to go, and Rick was like, I definitely don't want to go again. And so
Alex was there?
Yes. And so Ian was like, I'm going to just go again with you, Joe. And I go, sure, I guess. So we go, Rick says go. and Ian storms at me, and I do, because I realize in my head, I'm like, Ian's boxing right now. He's boxing us. So I think maybe if I curl up in standing position, Ian will go, oh, I get it. It's like boxing. I'll like give him a couple pats, and then I'll let him go. Ian, like, you swarmed me. You grabbed me up. You started like trying to punch at my face. I was like, what are you doing? We all had to be like, break, break, break. And in that moment, I realized that Ian will not slow down. It's not going to happen. So I accepted. I go, Ian's about to knock me out. That's what I accepted. I go, this is what's going to happen, because it would have been my fault too if I would, because I go, I'm just going to go in there and throw boats with him. At the time, all I knew about throwing boats was swaying as much as you possibly could and then throwing your body into the sway, like throwing your punch into the sway. And me and Ian did that back and forth for like 15 seconds before my right hand connected. You didn't like fall down or anything. You just stopped, stood in the air. Everybody said stop. I hurt my thumb. I said ow. You just stood there. I grabbed you with gloves. I said, are you okay? You said, yeah. I said, okay. And then everybody said, all right, we're done. We're done. And then I took my glove off, and my hand was like, my thumb was like from here up was like extremely red, and like not. I was telling everybody I can't move it, and yeah. So like that's all that really happened after that. Then nobody else wanted to box or train anymore, and we went back inside, and I iced my thumb for the rest of the night. That's how that happened, Ian.
I'm glad you remember
clearly
it
got
that
him
way.
pretty good if he doesn't remember.
Yeah, well, it was a proud moment for me. I thought I was going to get knocked out for sure. Like I was like that because we just stood there and banged. It was wild. And then cut to like almost like maybe like a half a year to a year later, where Ian's choking me out with a baseball choke, and so we're even Stevens. Anyway, we have to, dude. What if? Hear me out, okay? I have to cut all this out. Hear me out, all right? What if I hit up Lewis, right? I hit up Lewis. No, listen. I hit up Lewis, and they're planning Skankfest for whatever. What if I hit him up, right? I send him a couple different emails. I keep bothering him and the Gas Digital team. I tell him our story. I tell him the story exactly, and then I say we need a rubber match, but we want it to happen at Ellis Mania and Skankfest. SuperSour 1v1, Ian versus Joe, the rubber match of the century. And I'll sell it to him, and I guarantee you, bro, on one episode of Real S Podcast, he'll go, Doggy, I've been getting these emails from this guy, and I'm telling you, man, he's selling himself for Ellis Mania. We can get him to do one of the other. We can get him to have either us fly us out or put us up. He'll do one or the other. I know him. I've listened to him talk to people about this. He will do what, but he will not do both. If by next year we can save up enough money, because he's going to do it in New York. They said they're most likely going to do it in New York again, or maybe in Vegas, one of the two. If we save up enough money to either get there or stay there, we can fight on one of the biggest stages of all time. It's not that big. It's usually like 70 to 100 people. One of the biggest stages of all time, Ellis Mania, where Lewis and possibly Big J will commentate our own fights. Lewis could corner one of us, Doggy. He'd probably corner me because I'm Puerto Rican and, I'm setting up this whole thing. But, Doggy, dude, this is why me and Lewis are the same person. This is big. This would be huge for a rubber match.
You just have to send him this.
Oh, yeah, I'll clip this whole thing. You're right. I'll clip this whole thing and send it to him. You're right. Good idea.
See, now he's going to go with me because I'm fucking smarter.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, he's like, okay, but you got to bring he will say that he'll be like, you have to bring your black friend for diversity. He will say that. Look, Darnell, he'll say that. I mean, that's just what Lewis will say.
I don't know, Lewis.
Darnell can be the ring girl.
Okay.
Definitely not. I would rather break my thumb again and not
hold on.
for 2 months.
Whoa, ring guy. Think about like Elias, bro. Come on, man. Show some respect.
No, I would literally rather break my thumb again.
Wow.
I would rather
rest in peace, Elias Thurdu.
I'll break your thumb.
Put you in a thumb
I
lock.
would rather break my thumb again.
Man, let's start the episode by talking about the past fight card that happened. UFC whatever, like sometimes you don't even know what to like name them or call them. Like I don't name like the Apex ones because Apex rules, but everything it was just like UFC on Fox 27 or some shit. Let's say 82, whatever.
Oh, we don't deal with those people anymore.
Oh, that's right, we
don't
don't.
associate with Fox. We're
ESPN.
strictly ESPN people now.
So, but this past card was as we call on here, a sleeper card. UFC. Oh, it was an Apex card. UFC Apex. That would make it Apex 64. Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Lemos. So let's talk about. Let's just start from let's talk about all the. I'll tell you what. I wrote down a couple of notes about this whole card, and I'll start with the main event. The main event was meh. So the main event ends. Amanda Lemos gets a KO in the third round. 54 seconds left, or I believe 54 seconds into the third round. Hard to tell with the time distinctions. It wasn't the greatest fight, boys. Like, basically, they at one point say it's like right before the knockout, they say, "Oh, this is a very strategic fight." They've only thrown they've only landed a maximum of 50 punches so far, and I'm like, oh. Okay, so you're telling me it's been a slow, boring fight the whole time, and then a knockout happened. So it was just a very weird way to like try to sell me this fight, and where I'm like, how are you gonna tell me I've been watching it be slow?
I mean, that's how they have to sell it. You can't really get around it. Like,
no, what do you mean? You don't have to sell it like that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when fights are boring, they're like, these fighters are just very technical. They do it all the time to like be like, oh, well, it's not boring, it's technical.
Depending. I mean, you get guys on there like Anik and Joe Rogan who will sit there and be like, not too sure what's going on, what they're doing. I mean, yeah, are they technical? For sure, but I don't know. I just thought it was a weird way to. I was like, to say 50 strikes in the whole entire fight.
Out of basically 10 minutes of fighting.
Yeah. But shouts out to Amanda Lemos who gets the knockout. I mean, again, most of these women who are getting these, and that's what you have to do in these women divisions now is get knockouts, get submissions and knockouts. Otherwise, you don't get talked about on throwing hands.
Kind of disrespectful. But...
It was technically a knockout. That's what the T in TKO stands for.
Oh, it was a knockout. I saw she knocked that bitch out. Neil Magny versus Daniel Rodriguez. Shouts out D-Rod, who picks up another fight quickly after his last fight. But unfortunately does not win. Neil Magny looked real good. Neil Magny also has this amazing ability to where right now a lot of fighters, hands out, fingers out, that's a big thing with them. Neil Magny fights just like this all the time. He's kind of got like old man stance where he's always like this, But he uses it to his advantage because he's always ready. I don't like, you see it. It just makes sense. You're much more ready to throw a strike when your fist is already there, Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. You gotta keep the hands up.
Yeah.
He keeps them up.
These fighters, they'll be like, okay, all right, ha ha ha. I get it, but at the same time, like, you should dukes up. That's what keep your dukes up, But eventually, Neil Magny just takes him down the road with the wrestling in the third round. Honestly, starts bullying him for the entire fight with the wrestling. Honestly, anytime they had any wrestling exchange, Neil Magny destroys him. I mean, D-Rod still 14. Do you think he goes Neil Magny for some reason not showing a rank? Is he not ranked?
I don't think so.
Oh, is he new to the welterweight division? Is that what it is?
Nah, he just hadn't been active. So
Damn.
obviously you could start going down and more people were active than him.
Well, maybe, he takes number 15 at least.
Apparently he's 13.
Oh, number 13?
Yeah. Yeah, so that means, yeah, he's only one above D-Rod. That's hilarious.
Well, then that means meh for the division at that point. Let's see. What do we have? Something funny to point out. That's hope fast recovery to Derek Minor. Derek Minor versus Shaylin Nerdenbike. I don't know how to say that. He's Chinese, so I'm definitely not saying that right. But Derek Minor throws literally 2 leg kicks in the fight and then gets KO'd. He breaks his leg off of the first leg kick, and then he shouts out to him, man. He's
like, I'm still gonna throw the leg.
Yeah, he throws the same leg over again. He throws he kicks him. He immediately goes ow, and then goes, you know what? Fuck you. And then
like it was a fluke.
Yeah. And then of course gets dominated after that, which just makes sense. What do you think? Do you think
I don't like how his name is spelled.
who Derek
Who the
Minor?
fuck spells Derek with D-A? What?
Right? I was gonna say, does Derek Minor deserve redemption? But I don't know. Right off the back with you, you're like, I don't think so. Probably not.
Cause I just looked at it, I was just like, wait a minute, dude. D-A-R? The fuck?
Derek.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I'm more excited to see Darek fight again compared to whoever this Shay Leon guy is. Like, I could care less. I'm more impressed by the dude who broke his leg and then did the
Chinese
same.
feller.
It's my line.
It's more acceptable for Darnell though.
Acceptable for whoever.
How?
Just, do you want to take the heat for it?
Yeah. Let's see.
Bro, did you see Nate? I guess Manis. I don't know. Did you see him before he weighed in at 125?
I did not see that. What?
Bro, it was on Twitter. My man was a fucking skeleton to get to 125. And then they showed he weighed in after, they showed his weight after he got, he passed weigh-ins and everything.
Yeah.
Bro, he went from 125 to 176.
No.
That's what he
That's
fought at.
wild.
There's no reason for you to be trying to get to 125, bro. Go to 135, be a man. Or at least 145. I was like, what the fuck is that? And he still lost.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He got subbed.
Yeah, because his body's still recovering.
Oh yeah, it's still recovering. That's what's just it's not worth it. Just because you have more power over somebody at a weight class, don't do it. Look what happened to fucking Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw both. They went to 125 and got fucked on. Especially Cody. Cody, god damn, bro.
That is
he went in there talking shit just to get cracked in the first round.
I mean, but that's some Anthony Johnson type shit right there. That kind of weight cutting. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was fucking not good for the soul.
I was gonna say it's unreasonable.
Yeah, it's
amount of fucking weight cutting.
And
I get maybe 25 pounds, but 50?
No way.
That's a lot. Especially if you're gaining that back basically in water.
Yeah,
because that's what it is. He probably he probably dehydrated the shit out of himself to get down.
Holy shit.
Maybe Patty cuts that much, but he actually just loses that weight.
Yeah, because he's just a fucking glutton when he's not training.
Patty the fatty. You should really accept that name. He gets offended by it. I'm like, nah, you should accept it, bro. Because he's only Patty the fatty for certain times of the year. He's great.
Well, it's like that Goku mentality. Just fucking train a bunch and then eat a bunch and then sleep a bunch. That's literally what Patty says he does, basically. That or plays video games and shit.
A true saying. Dude, Grant Dawson, Mark Madsen. Grant Dawson leg kicks himself away to a rear naked choke. Impressive as hell. If you guys didn't see the fight, impressive striking from Grant Dawson, but he just leg kicks. Mark Madsen eventually starts falling down from the leg kicks, doing the. I love when fighters are doing this thing where they're gonna block, but they're just going stop, please stop doing it.
Please no.
You know what I mean? That look they do, they go they're blocking, but at the same time they're like Jesus. And then Grant Dawson just stormed all over him, and USA baby, USA. It's good to see a win column for us, you know.
How dare you?
Hey,
America.
Darnell. You don't
Oh,
don't
you
be
didn't
it.
say that with Neil won though. You didn't. What is that about?
I mean,
What's going on? You mean what, sir?
I
With
mean,
the Neil Magny one, I'm glad he won. Woo,
well,
fuck
I mean,
America.
yeah, Daniel Rodriguez is an American too. What do you,
Hey, you're only saying it's a good American because it's Grant.
I don't know, man. That remains to be seen. My defense is there. My defense is solid. I have the white background. I have the Ian backs me up on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
The only color I see is red, white, and blue.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah. Yee.
As he sports a Japanese anime high school kids with powers.
yeah. With an anime beanie as well.
As long as they're American, they can.
Pollyanna Viana and Jin Hugh Frey. I don't know. Okay, I don't know, but that's a first round KO that got performance of the night. No, I feel like at least Darnell's gonna be like, yeah, obviously, but in my opinion, guys, there was 3 performance of the nights given out. There was only 2 decisions for the whole night. I watched all the other fights. These girls did not deserve performance of the night for a whatever. They're hyping it up because it was like a 14-second KO, and I'm like
47.
40. Oh yeah, 47 in. Yeah, you're right. Look at that.
Still.
Hey man, it was still great. She was
No, it was
projected
great,
to
but
win.
do you think that
And
that it really deserves performance of the night compared to some of these other people who fought wars
She
that night?
deserves performance of the night for me personally for
Okay,
2 reasons.
okay.
1, she's hot.
There
2,
it goes.
she has a
There we go.
fucking pain tattoo on her chest. No one else. Well, nah, Izzy has fucking
was gonna
Naruto
say,
tattoo shit too.
Fair
But
enough.
like she of all people she could have got tattooed. She got pain in the middle of her chest. Okay, I had to go
Okay.
for her.
All right.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm a fan. I gotta go for her to win. And then she beat this bitch's ass. Like a 5-piece combo, just straight jabs to the face.
I don't know fully that the
That's a
Naruto tattoo
wild-ass
deserves the performance of the
tattoo.
night, but I I'll give it. I'll put it in there.
It's on her Twitter. It's on her Twitter. It's on her
I'll
when she
put it in
weighed
the
in. That
picture,
was
yeah.
the first thing I seen. I was like, oh shit, pain. And I was just like, that's what she's probably about to bring
Yeah, that's what you were
to
looking
this
at.
motherfucker.
Right. Yeah.
We both know that's not what you were looking at, Darnell.
I mean, it was because I'm an adult. I don't need to look at titties
Okay.
all the time.
Okay.
When my
that would mean that
Instagram
you would have to
is
look at titties
just
all the
that.
time. What are you talking
Yeah, I
about?
was gonna say it's more of a common occurrence than you might think.
Oh, I'm sorry. You think
That's
because you
wild.
grow up, you stop looking at titties more?
You just
Who
grow
said
up to
that?
be.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you said you're a grown up. You don't like looking at titties.
That's what you just
That's
said.
exact. That's
I
what
said
you
I'm
said.
an adult, not a grown.
Yeah.
Those aren't the same thing.
Actually, the adult is the more adult version to say that, and you
Your Honor.
contradicting me. He's clearly way
See how
more.
upset you are?
You
Your
are
Honor,
grown
Your
up.
Honor.
You are like
This is kangaroo
way
court.
more adult.
Kangaroo
Well,
court.
what we
Oh,
can't
man,
agree
now I gotta
is
watch
Darnell.
that video.
Hashtag Darnell doesn't like titties.
Hashtag Darnell doesn't like titties anymore.
Yeah,
Hashtag
you could
Darnell's
try-
too
you
old for
could go ahead
titties.
Too
and
adult for
delete that
titties.
hashtag. You could-
Too
my
adult
It's a
for
sad
titties.
day when
huh?
you're too adult for
Way
titties.
different.
Tell you what.
Oh yeah, the Rick and Morty thing.
Yeah. I'm not too adult for titties. What about you, Ian?
Hell no.
Hell no, doggy.
Bring them out. Let me see them.
Did they
Now
animate
show
those?
them them titties. Yeah.
Oh,
shouts
fuck.
out Tamiris Vidal, who got the KO as well against Ramona Pasquale, and also got a performance of the night. I didn't see that, but I want to shout them out. I'm sure that went great. I'm sure that went good.
Sure, it was fine.
Yeah, she got a taste of human dick and lost her mind, lost sight of the mission, and that was it. That's the end of the story. That's where it
Also-
should have ended, but then they're like, no, cycle of hatred, blah, blah, blah.
Also, shouts out Madara, who's like
Done with you.
one of the best characters in my opinion.
Yes.
I guess I could say Madara is the best because he's just.
That scene is
Oh,
iconic, where
no.
he destroys
I
the
fucked
entire fucking ninja army. It's insane.
I
And the
fucked
five
up. My
Kage.
favorite is actually God.
Kage.
My favorite person is actually God.
Yeah. Whoa.
I forgot about it and it's because of the moderate fight, because he's just like, nah, fuck
Oh,
that.
for sure.
I gotta throw hands. He's there, just like, no, jutsu's gonna work on him. He was like, oh no, jutsu, bet.
Bet.
I got hands.
I got those hands.
Got these motherfucking hands. Yeah.
Dude,
So I got
Guy
hands.
Sensei,
To that ass.
Guy Sensei, official mascot of throwing hands. It's official. That's back
I
when
say that, and then this is actually
You lost me.
background on my phone.
You had me. You lost me.
Hey,
And I'm back in it. Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
what's the thing he says? You're your spirit of we're the spirit of our youth.
Springtime youth, bro.
Springtime youth. Yeah.
God.
It's all of us, boys.
Just makes me want to start doing some fucking push-ups.
1, 2, 3, 4.
If only I could do handstands.
Boys, let's get into some fight news. Let's talk fight news. Some good fight news. Conor McGregor, hot off of Halloween, denies mom wore blackface for Halloween amidst backlash from fans. I almost said blacklash, which I guess kind of works. So we'll put the picture in there, guys. You seen the picture, right, of how his mom dressed?
She fucked up.
First of all,
She fucked up.
before we even talk about her, can we talk about how Conor's dressed with the fucking the way he dressed? He has no neck with his like pilot outfit, I guess that is. He doesn't look like Conor at all. It looks like actually a replacement. It looks like somebody is playing Conor for the day for his mom.
That'd be pretty funny.
She was later. Conor's mom was later referred to as a cave woman, a witch doctor, which was later referred to as a cave woman. So I don't think she saved herself at all with that.
Yeah, nah, not especially if she claims cave woman, it's like, then why was your face black? What the fuck is that about, bro?
I think in that article that you actually put up, I think that they were trying to claim that it's supposed to be like soot from like ashes.
I guess
there's no way to spin it where you don't look racist.
But it's like, well, no, it's the thing. Like, you don't cover, like, your whole face wouldn't be covered unless you're like in a coal mine.
Yeah.
And like, coal miners have like, their goofy hat and like the old timey, like you would get that it's a coal miner. But what she's wearing, I'm like, that's not a caveman.
There's no way to spin it any way without it looking like what it looks.
Well, no, like she's covering her whole face. Like if it was just like a smear here and a smear there, to where it's like something like that's a little bit more
really
reasonable,
different.
I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But her whole face is covered.
Yeah. I was exactly what I was gonna say. I feel as if it was just a little bit, then you'd be like, oh yeah, minor. But the whole thing, you're like, oh, blackface. Like,
it's not okay.
It's like GG's, bro. GG's. Hey, but they're rich. They can get over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Literally, I mean, it was a moment of backlash. They're just gonna remove all the photos. It's gonna live in infamy for like pretty much every Halloween for him, pretty much. But otherwise, they're fine, But I mean, do we think his mom's actually racist or not? What do we think?
Probably slightly.
A little
Not
bit.
gonna lie.
A wee bit. A wee bit.
Racist
A
as
scooch.
fuck.
Okay, just racist as fuck. Well, hey, we don't. At this point, guess what? We are 2 votes, but his votes counts as like a what would you say the black population is in America? I don't know, like whatever that is, like that's what it counts as. So, so it really outweighs us.
Why would that be?
Ian doesn't agree with the black vote.
Clearly.
I just don't know why his vote would mean more than ours.
What do you mean?
Are you insinuating I'm less of a person than you, Ian? Is that what
No,
we're doing?
I'm saying your vote should be equal to mine and Joe's. Why would it be more?
I don't know. He made the rules, not me.
Yeah, take it up with the committee, and I'm sorry, I
thought we were equals here.
That this is America.
This is America. I thought we were equal here. All right.
What else happened? Ben Askren went on an interview saying, what's the obvious, that MMA fighters, that being a career in MMA is shitty. It's shitty to have a career in MMA. and he doesn't want anybody else to have a career in MMA. He's starting to tell people to not do it. He also wrote a book, Funky, My Defiant Path Through the Wild World of Combat Sports. I guess in which he's also probably telling people his stories about MMA and like combat sports, but also I assume telling people not to go into MMA anymore. Do you think the man's just bitter? Or do you think he's just spitting straight facts? I mean, he does talk a lot about like the money that's made and when you're coming up and how long it takes and everything. So, I mean, he is spitting straight facts. But you think the man's just bitter about how it ended for him in MMA, or
it's true they probably don't get paid as much as they should be, for sure. Like, I mean, especially like lower class fighters that still have like a lot of fights under their belt, like they're still not making that much from fighting.
Right.
Like so they're getting screwed over in that aspect. But like if you're popular and or
well, yeah, exactly,
good, then by all means, like they're making the money, they're on the pay-per-view cards, yada yada yada. But
that
for
is
lesser known fighters and like ones that just have like a little fling, like they're underplayed and underpaid. Like
he is specifically.
Or I should say overplayed and underpaid.
That they are like you have to be like really really good. You have to get noticed by the right people. It doesn't matter about like what you're doing and how long you're doing it. It's all about like timing and getting seen. And I get that, but
well, it's funny because Patty just said something, or not said something. Like he didn't say, like come out and be like, oh well, I'm being underpaid, but he's a very popular fighter right now, and he's had a decent amount of fights that have been really popular. And he was telling a story on a podcast how his dad, like a group of like, I guess, high schoolers, I forget how he put it, but because European, how they say school and shit. But he said that Patty's dad, like they came up to him like, are you Patty Pimple's dad? And said yeah, and he's like, oh, what are you living in this shithole for?
Yeah
because like his like parents, like I guess they live in like a half decent house, but still they all think that he's getting paid, like Patty's getting paid a stupid amount of money to be fighting right now, when that's not the case, which in my opinion he should be. Like people are talking about him, he's drawing people to the UFC, like he should be getting paid more. I mean, based off of not only his fighting ability but his popularity.
I think that that's just like the overall, like it's a talk we've all had for a long time, but it's just like going nowhere. But it's going. I shouldn't say going nowhere. It's going somewhere. Fighters are finding different ways, and the UFC's, I should say, kind of actively starting to give them a little bit more money. But I will say that I really wanted to point this article out, because he does shouts out that he says that he gives this advice to not. He tells people, anybody like me, you, Darnell, whoever it is. He tells anybody, don't get into MMA. That's what he tells people now. He said there was only two people that were an exception to his rule, which were Corey Anderson and shouts out Jordan Newman, who we were just talking about on the most previous podcast with Safe, and who's a Bellator fighter, and shouts out, it gets full circle, they all know, Ben Askren, they all know each other. So it's kind of cool that he would point that out right here in this article just recently, just the other day, that it's a main person that he would say that's a guy who needs to be in mixed martial arts because he's going to destroy. So let's see what else we got here. I actually had some breaking news too, but let's see. UFC legend Mark Hunt has a retirement fight. I don't know, this kind of flew under the radar. Everybody here knows Mark Hunt, right? Fucking
yeah,
bomb thrower. A more classy Australian New Zealand fighter compared to like Tai Tuivasa, who threw bombs and didn't do shoeies afterwards. Yeah.
Shoey.
Crypto just farted. Oh. So gross. It stunned me. I was like, oh Jesus. So Mark Hunt has I believe it's like a boxing fight. It looks like definitely a boxing.
Yeah, it was a
fight.
boxing match,
and gets a KO. I mean, good for him. Shouts out Mark Hunt. good. I'm glad to see him go out on some kind of KO compared to how he went out in UFC, but the KO itself was very meh.
Yeah, you got paid for that Brock Lesnar fight though. You got paid like 3 times.
Let's get into the Paul brothers. So the Paul brothers. So the Paul brothers now. So here's some good news about what's coming up with Jake's next boxing fight, which won't be for a while. They do the boxing fight, then they do a bunch of other stuff to make money, then they come back to the boxing fight. There is now a new footage of Jake Paul's entourage, not Jake Paul, but his entourage, getting into a brawl with Nate Diaz. So the video is very like not. I mean, I'll throw it in there like on mute, like in the video, but it's in like during the pod, but like it's very much just a lot of them. It's a lot of them just like talking shit, trying to start the fight. Nobody's starting it, but it's the crew's just talking a lot of shit. But Nate is there. He's talking that shit. But apparently a bodyguard gets pelted by a beer, which they don't show in the video. But it's serious now. I mean, they've had a crew altercation. Somebody's bodyguard was pelted with a beer. It's only telling me that. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but for sure now at this point, the next boxing fight is going to be Jake Paul, Nate Diaz.
You think they're going to box?
Yeah.
Nate got hands.
Which one of them was talking about coming over to MMA?
Logan.
Was okay.
Logan, yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Although both of them have talked about doing MMA, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's just great to see this because I want the next fight between Jake to be Jake and Nate. I think it's going to be a great boxing fight. And this is just great to see them getting into scuffles because that means that even on the smallest term, you're like, all right, well, they'll for sure be fighting then. I don't know. Just a minute.
I hope not.
I mean, dude, it's going to be an easy win for Nate. What do you mean?
I want the Pauls to drown.
Yeah, but they'll drown if they fight Nate. Think about Connor, bro. Come on.
I'm not thinking about that fucking gorilla, bro.
But I'm saying like
that man broke his leg, ain't been the same.
No. I'm saying like think about like what Nate did to Connor. Like he shut down Connor in MMA. Now he can shut down Jake Paul in boxing. He could be the guy.
I mean, I definitely want him to, but I don't think that's how that fight's gonna turn out.
I think so.
Nah.
Logan Paul, when it comes to MMA, he all he's got right now is he's issuing challenges to Andrew Tate. Like he's trying to fight Andrew Tate in an MMA fight. Andrew Tate says he doesn't want to fight Logan Paul because he's on steroids.
I'm a completely clean athlete and he's on a shitload of steroids. Steroids? How the fuck did you think I passed every drug test I've ever done?
I mean, once you're in the WWE, you kind of like, it's like mandatory that
you probably are now. He's probably
right onto the needle.
Right? It's in the contract. Like it's at the end as he's reading it. He's like he gets to the very end and he gets stuck with a needle. He's reading the part where he has to do steroids. He's like okay. Well, it's in there. I mean, I think again, I want to see Andrew Tate fight again. I want to see him fight like nowadays. Like I want to see him fight somebody. So if he's gonna fight Logan,
top G take somebody down.
What?
You trying to see the top G take somebody down?
I'm wondering if he can. I'm wondering if he can, and he'll light up a cigar right afterwards. Talk about his net worth.
How long has it been since his last fight?
Oh God, I don't even know. All kickboxing though, so it's just like. But he talks all that shit like I would do MMA, no problem. Like I would destroy people. I'm like,
that's what they all say.
I want to see it. I want to see him versus somebody.
Well, they would just feed him a whole bunch of nobodies at first. So, like, obviously, he's gonna just dominate them in kickboxing.
Not if he just goes into a fight against like Jake or Logan Paul and boxing or MMA.
And if it's MMA, Logan was pretty good at wrestling, so he'd just take his ass down.
True.
I don't know. I mean, if Andrew Tate was that good at kickboxing, he's just gonna fucking
Stuff the takedown.
Yo, that actually wasn't that long ago. His last fight was 2020.
Oh, really? And he won?
Yeah. Yep. TKO.
Damn.
Second round. That's actually, I honestly thought he retired like a while back, not just 2 years ago.
The man's
That's
legit.
crazy.
The man's legit. Let's see. Darnell already alluded to. Logan Paul destroyed his knee in WWE Crown Jewel, where he also Jake Paul made his first appearance for WWE, being there for Logan Paul. Just kind of helped out. It's they're alluding to in this article that Jake will probably be in the WWE. Like he might be signing a small contract. I think that'd be great to watch them do like a tag team thing against like the
they'd have to go against the Usos.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't be against Roman again.
No, yeah.
And they don't have a third person to make it like Roman and the Usos versus Paul brothers and some third person. But it'd probably be the fucking Miz. Now that I think about it. So
oh yeah, good point.
That could work out.
I'd be about Ian. He's like, I have no say. He's like, this is dumb.
I don't watch any WWE.
I don't.
Sorry.
I don't either. I just
or know about it.
Twitter.
I keep up with it like on some like YouTube channels I have and stuff like that. And of course, I talk about it with Mom. So like I keep up. You know, I hear a lot of the podcasters and like comedians I listen to. Surprisingly, love WWE. So hear about it from there too.
The Golden Pony himself.
The Golden Pony himself. You're right, and he'll tell you all about
Tony
it.
Fucking Hinchcliffe.
The thing, Tony only knows like fucking like at this point he only knows like super historic stuff. Like he barely keeps up nowadays, in my opinion. Like so, Ariane Celeste is responding to Uriah Hall talking about he just making a comment, as many fighters have, about how Ronda Rousey was the biggest one to talk about how she hates how much ring girls make, and I would say this is the first combat, so I don't really fully believe it. But Uriah Hall makes these statements saying that it's ridiculous how much these ring girls make, and Ariane Celeste, who's been a ring girl since the beginning, basically, of UFC, or maybe she says she's been working with the company for like 15 years. So. But
I've been working for the UFC for like
37
years.
Hang on, sweetheart. I gotta go put up the card. I gotta go walk around and put the card up. Round 3, boys. Shit. Yeah, the way the way Ariane Celeste looks now, if she's really been working for 15 years, she was either underage working for the company or she got a lot of work done. Just saying. That's just me. But I digress. She says that she's got a lot of endorsements, like advertisers, XYZ, a lot of other things that make her money. And here's the thing. Good for you. Fighters aren't allowed to have those anymore. Unfortunately, your argument doesn't make any sense. She said she's had them for 15 years. She's had all these things. So she had them as long as other fighters had them. And since that was 5 years ago that they took away fighters' rights to have other sponsors. And she's saying, without understanding and realizing she did it, she's had all of it, endorsements, sponsors, fucking affiliates, all these things that she just keeps them all, and the fighters can't have those things.
She's literally like, they can't afford bread, well, let them eat cake. Like, it's a historical reference.
What the fuck does that mean?
If you're
No. You're gonna explain that to me right now.
So
what the fuck does that mean?
a rich French queen was listening to the gripes and complaints of her civilians that they could barely afford bread, and so her response was if they can't buy bread, let them eat cake. So that she was just like, okay, well, if they can't get bread, just eat cake. Because she had no concept of money or poor or rich. She just grew up ridiculously rich because she was royalty.
And that's why the poor revolt. That's
Yeah.
why they do what they do.
And that's why this ring girl is like, oh, well, I just have all these things that you guys can't get.
Yeah,
Like,
she doesn't even think about it. She just like points it out to be like, oh, well, that's why I have that money. Like she was like saying like I don't make more money than the fighters. Which guess what? Guess what? I'll believe it just for fun's sakes. Let's pretend like we actually believe that, right? Let's pretend like this is the first. Let's pretend like this isn't the first time that they're ever actually addressing that they don't make more money, and every other time that they brought it up, they never addressed it. So let's pretend all that, right? Like. You're then you're afterwards you're just pretending like you don't understand. Like she's so out of touch from the whole entire thing to realize like to think like, oh, they think that, well, let me prove them wrong. I have these things. And the fighters go, we
legally can't get these things.
It's the thing from fucking what's that movie, God, the vacation movie with the family where it's like, you guys are getting paid. That shit.
No.
Meet the Millers? Yeah.
Meet the Talkers.
Meet the Millers.
No, that's Ben Stiller. That's Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Damn it.
All right, boys. Before we start this next segment, let me point out that every Throwing Hands episode ends with street fights, and YouTube doesn't like when we do that too often. So we found some of the best ones to give to you, one per episode. And if you'd like to see the rest of this episode, uncensored, uncut, with the rest of the street fights, we do about 2 to 3 more that we break down, that we find. And you can find those on Patreon. So if you go over to patreon.com/SuperSour, $3 a month, it's one of the cheapest Patreons that you can find there. And you can find extra content from the SuperSour podcast and the Throwing Hands podcast that you can't see here, where we watch all kinds of crazy shit, we talk crazy shit, uncensored, unfiltered, just for you, $3 a month at base. You get a lot more
Penis
extra.
or two might be thrown out.
Just one or two. Just one or two. If it flings out, it flings out. But that's it, you support a local podcast, and you get a lot of different content.
Local podcast.
Yeah, it's a local podcast.
Unless you live somewhere else.
somewhere
In
else.
that case, you're
It's
just supporting
a
great
podcast
stuff.
Yeah. You know what? That's good. So yeah, head on over to patreon.com/SuperSour and subscribe today. But for here on the YouTube episode, we have a classic video again. A video some people might have seen, but Ian sent this to me. I think you sent it to me recently, right? Yeah.
A couple days ago.
And I was so happy because I was like, oh man. I was like, I haven't seen this in so long. And it really is a big argument in, I think, still today.
Jiu-jitsu doesn't work on the streets.
That's what they say, right? But I disagree heavily. I disagree.
Sometimes it does.
I think it works often, especially if you're a guy who knows the fucking, what's the word Darnell, you know what I'm talking about? No. The role, like it starts
the
with
Eminari rule?
Yes, and Eminari role, yes. That, like, if you're somebody who knows how to do something like that, like, yeah, jiu-jitsu works for you every time on the streets because they have no idea what the fuck you just did. Especially, like, like people pulling guard or something they're taken down. Like, guys can kind of expect that, but an Eminari roll, no way. Like, so it's. I think it does nowadays, and I don't know. What do you think? Jiu-jitsu in a street fight? Do you approve or?
Oh hell yeah! Because majority of the time, like you can kind of say for the most part, motherfuckers ain't gonna know what the hell you're doing once it gets down to the ground. Like if you get taken down, chances are you freaking out about it is gonna you're gonna just fold yourself into them pretty much and sub yourself.
Oh yeah.
Like that's how much people panic. But also on top of that, other motherfuckers know jujitsu. And then it becomes a whole thing where you guys are doing shit to each other, and then you're just like, wait a minute.
Hey.
The real issue is who and when.
Yeah. I would also say, like, experience. Like, just because like you just started taking jiu-jitsu class doesn't mean you should go out there and start like, defending yourself with it immediately, because you shouldn't use jiu-jitsu on anybody, but like you defend yourself with it. Like if you just took a few classes and suddenly you find yourself in a fight, don't try to do the Kimura lock you learned in one class. Like defend yourself or run away,
Get to mount.
Get to mount.
Nah, bro, break that fucking arm. Let him know who's boss.
Hell yeah.
Every time it rains, he remembers that random motherfucker who beat my ass at the bar.
See, main goal is get to mount, because like as this video progresses, like if
Scarred.
like no, well if you that's the thing, like you don't know what their friends are gonna be like. Oh yeah, just let him start to choke out my friend.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
no.
if there's more than one person, then don't do jiu-jitsu, because you don't know if their friend's gonna start fucking stomping your
Good
head
point.
or some shit.
Very good point.
Like you're very open to somebody else attacking you.
Very
That's
good point.
the
I wasn't
issue
thinking about that.
in street fight, because it
One-on-one.
works against the one person you're fighting, but I don't know if his friend's gonna be okay with it. His friend's like, oh, it's fine. It's an armbar. It's fine. It's not how.
Yeah,
That's
let him
not
go.
how people work.
You're rolling the dice on the friend that goes like, let him go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't.
Unfortunately, that friend.
You're that friend. Yeah. Ian's that friend to an extent. Like
It's just like, bro, you got yourself in that situation. You better get yourself out of it.
I feel like
I'll help if needed, but bro, you started the fight. You get your ass beat. That's on you.
If Joe gets into a fight and he starts armbarring the dude, I'm gonna be like, hey, you guys, or if the guy starts armbarring him, or vice versa, I'm like, okay, you guys need to separate. But if the dude is on top of him, just like fucking throwing bows, punches, like whatever, no, that guy's getting kicked in the face.
Right. Fair enough. So I think that's a fair distinction. I think.
Yeah, but some people go, oh shit, my friend's being choked out. I'm gonna start beating the fuck out of this other guy.
Yeah.
It works if you're not fighting like a group, or the whole like you bring all your fucking friends and you fight.
I like it.
Type deal.
I respect it.
It works, but it doesn't.
Well,
situational.
Well, let's see how it works for this man who gets into a scuffle at a basketball court. Not really sure. This is a classic video if you haven't seen before. I'm not really sure what the whole deal was, but let's see how we go. So, I mean, also, see, this is what Ian's talking about. A lot too many of them trying to pull him off when he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Still just sweeps him down.
Yep, very good. Right there.
Jesus, gonna ruin this man's whole career.
I love what he says. You'll never play basketball again. Right there. I love that. I want to see it again.
That's on.
So he throws that punch. Yeah. He throws that punch, and that's jiu-jitsu right there. Take the punch if you can, defend yourself, and then grab them. And it's over. He's got his AirPod in and everything.
Well, if it wasn't for these people pulling him off, he would have landed a rear naked.
Easily right there, yeah.
Even all stacked up, he just fucking crimped around his knee.
Got that armbar,
folded his knee, pulled him down, right into the leg lock. I'll fucking break it right now.
You'll never. God, that's so cool.
I'll break your shit. You won't ever play basketball again.
I'll break your shit. You'll never play basketball again. Oh.
Maybe not fully true, but like, definitely wouldn't be playing basketball to the extent that you're doing it now. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your skill level of basketball is. He's like, I'm gonna break your fucking ankle and possibly one of your fucking bones. Like,
Reese said, what if the white guy called him the N-word? And I'm like, well, then it'd be racist jiu-jitsu.
That wouldn't even be a fair one-on-one anymore. He just would have got his ass stomped out on some boot dog shit.
Who's the most justified in saying the N-word?
Not that guy at that point. Shit. All right. Guys, like we said, if you want to watch the rest of this episode, go to patreon.com/SuperSour. That's the end of this episode of Throwing Hands. Thanks for being here, boys. Check us all out on twitch.tv. You can find Darnell at twitch.tv/blanks. And you can find us all, the rest of us all, at twitch.tv/SuperSour Games. You can also find Darnell and the rest of his social media at blanks,
_.
BLXKNZ _.
You spelled it wrong. You forgot the N.
God.
There
What?
is an N in there.
There is an N in there, unfortunately.
BLXNKZ _. There you go.
Don't forget the underscore.
Follow,
Yeah, because that's really important.
follow Ian with at McLeodmatic on all social media, twitch.tv/McLeodmatic. And you can watch us play a lot of video games. And otherwise,
Mostly Fortnite.
mostly Fortnite, yeah. Otherwise,
For now.
please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. If you feel fancy, throw in a comment. Tell us what you think about the fights coming up, the fights that have happened. Boys, we didn't even talk about the fights that are coming up. There's so many cards, but we'll talk about that on Patreon, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So go to Patreon
Maybe,
to see
perhaps.
that. And these.
That's when it's gonna cut again.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Jesus Christ. Thanks for watching Throwing Hands. We'll see you guys on Patreon, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace. Oh, shit. He just left.
Yeah. Nice. Heckin' nice. Dude, the bit continues, bro.
Now that I'm not talking to those assholes.
When I knock people out, they don't fucking move. Who the fuck is that guy? Oh, don't be scared, homie.
Welcome to Throwing Hands.
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park, the ponytail.
My balls was hot.